In this video, you're going to get a one-on-one interview with Michael, a rep for Pulte Homes, right on site at Crescent Cove. Now, I'm going to get all your specific juicy questions answered. Fences, pets, breed or restrictions, HOA, you name it, it's going to be in there. Can we have a pool? The specific questions that you need answered as a new construction buyer looking into Crescent Cove. Now, if you stay tuned until the end, I'm also going to give you builder incentives. I'm going to show you what other buyers are getting as far as builder incentives from some of the top builders in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Now hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's get into the video now. If you're thinking about buying a new construction home in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, this video could completely change where and how you buy. Purchasing new construction is all about the deal, and having a solid buyer's broker could be the difference in you building wealth with many of your fellow Americans or making a decision that costs you thousands from day one. Because not all new communities are the same. Builder incentives vary, financing options differ, some neighborhoods hold value better than others, and the amenities that actually matter to everyday homeowners can change from one community to the next. In this series, we're taking you inside new construction communities across Myrtle Beach and the Grand Strand, from coastal neighborhoods to fast-growing inland areas, so you can see how they really compare before you make a decision. We'll break down builder incentives, lot purchase and resale strategy, new construction versus resale comparables, and work through your floor plan resale potential. Not only will you see the out-of-pocket expenses to purchase the property, but you'll also get a full breakdown of your first year annual home expenses. We'll take a tour of the on-site amenities, and I'll show you local points of interest that will impact your daily life, like schools, shopping, golf, restaurants, grocery stores, medical, and even highway infrastructure. But we're not just talking about this from a desk. You'll hear directly from on-site sales agents inside each community as I interview them as your buyer's broker, paired with on-location video so you can actually see the homes, feel the neighborhood, and understand the pace and personality of each area. We'll compare communities side by side in each area so that you can see how this community stacks up against the rest of the market, and decide if you can get a better deal elsewhere or if the premium you're paying is really worth the cost. Remember, the biggest wealth builder many Americans have is their primary home. And I'll help you size up this deal to ensure that you'll be able to resell this new construction home, keeping hard-earned money for you and your loved ones. Whether you're a first-time buyer, VA and FHA buyer, growing family, upsizer, newlywed couple, second home buyer, investor looking for a stable new construction rental property, or a retiree, I'll help you find the best community that meets not only your needs, but also positions you for long-term value and resale. By the end of this video, you won't just know what's being built, you'll understand why some communities stand out, which ones fit your budget and lifestyle, and where buyers are getting the most value today so that they can make the most at resale. So whether you're relocating, upgrading, downsizing, buying your first home, or planning for the future here in Myrtle Beach, this series will give you the clarity and confidence to make a smart move. All right, Mike, I'm a first-time buyer. I'm walking into Pulte Homes at Crescent Cove. What happens next?
So typically when people come in the door, obviously we'll give them a nice warm greeting, ask them how they're doing that day, and try to give them a quick overview of the community. We usually kind of direct them towards our community map, show them an overview, let them know that we're going to be a community of almost 400 homes. There's 398 home sites. We have 15 different floor plans that we offer in this community across 3 different collections of homes. So they have different price points and different options that we offer in each collection.
Now, you say collection, 3 different collections of homes. Break that down for our first-time buyers.
So it's 3 different series of floor plans that we offer, and they all have, like, for instance, right now we're standing in the Renown plan. It's part of our Sutton collection. Those are the larger, higher price point homes. They have the most to offer as far as structural and design options available. Then we have the Prescott series, which has, you know, the same amount, very similar options available. The floor plans are a little bit smaller, not quite as high of a price point as the Sutton collection. And then we have our Cambridge series, which is our, you know, the lowest price point. In there we have option packages, so you kind of all the design features of the home, cabinets, countertops, flooring. It's all inside a package that you choose, and we have a couple different packages. So you pick a package to go in the home, and those are the design features that we're going to place in the home.
Now, so in Crescent Cove, we have all 3 different collections of homes.
Correct. Yeah.
Wonderful.
And each collection has 5 different floor plans.
Now, if our buyer, and I'm going to ask you a juicy question.
Okay.
If our buyer is looking for resale value when they buy, because as you guys know, one of the most important things when you're buying a new construction home is you buy it on the day you buy it for resale. You have to be thinking about how the property is going to resell in the future, because, you know, for many Americans, it's their largest wealth builder.
Sure.
So you got to be savvy and smart about this. Now, I had a client ask me, I want your personal opinion. You know, she was concerned. She was looking. It was not Crescent Cove. It was another local builder, and she's in that $550,000 price range. She's getting a much nicer new construction home comparatively. There are other homes in the neighborhood that are $287,000. You know, and she's going. You know, so my question is, knowing that there's 3 different types of homes in a neighborhood that's new construction, do the lower end homes pull down the values of the upper tier homes?
Not in my experience. I haven't seen that.
No.
Because anytime we've had, I can't think of the name of it right now. Sorry.
You're good.
What do they call that when they come out and do, not an audit?
Inspection.
Appraisals. Appraisal.
God, yes.
The word was
we got it.
So anytime they come out and do appraisals on a home, we haven't had an issue meeting with comps and things like that. It's not been an issue.
So does the diversity in price, you know, does it help things? Does it, I mean, what does that look like practically? You know, lived out, you know, are we, you know, if someone's buying a home that's loaded with tons of options, they've got this top tier home, and then, you know, a few blocks over, you've got somebody that's got a $300,000 home, that's not going to hurt them.
So the way that we've got the community broken out, our home sites are broken out kind of per collection. So you're not going to have a Cambridge series home, for the most part, sitting right next to a Sutton collection.
Gotcha.
They're broken out so that you're in certain, you know, the same collection of homes. They're all kind of in the same area of the community.
Yep.
And I think that's kind of how we avoid.
Wonderful.
You know, that
Wonderful.
Kind of
okay. Now, let's talk about process. How long does it take you guys to build a home?
From the time you sign a sales agreement, typically you're, 6 to 8 months is a good estimate.
Okay.
Once we get started on construction, they can usually do it 4.5, 5 months. You know, as long as everything's smooth, we don't have any significant delays. But that's, once we sign the contract, there's going to be a delay of, 6 to 8 weeks typically before we actually start construction.
Gotcha. But it's still kind of fast. I mean, sure,
we've got it down to a science.
Yeah, I pay a deposit in 6 weeks. Y'all are building it. I'm kind of happy.
Sure.
All right. So, how does the deposit work with Pulte?
So it depends
like a flat
on
fee.
Yes, for your earnest money deposit. It depends on which collection home your floor plan is in. It depends on if you're financing or if you're paying cash.
Okay.
So typically I'll give you an example, like a Sutton collection home, your earnest money deposit is going to be $45,000.
Okay.
And then if you're paying cash, it's $70,000.
Wow.
But we can go to contract with $10,000, and then we can, do the rest in installments if needed.
Not bad. Super cool. So depending upon the collection and whether or not you're doing financing, that's going to determine how much the deposit is.
Correct.
What's your highest deposit you've seen?
That's that we require.
Yeah.
That's the one.
70,
I just gave you
70.
the highest one. Yeah.
And the lowest?
So the lowest I've seen, if you buy one of our move-in ready inventory homes, like a Cambridge series, we can go with to contract with 5,000.
Well, you guys, you're hearing it right here.
So there is a difference if you're buying a move-in ready versus a to be built.
Okay.
So
yeah. So
that plays into it.
Move-in ready for all of our new people. That is a home that is already built and is actively being marketed for sale on the market.
Yep.
You're not really picking out options. You're
Correct.
not really, choosing colors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a home that we've designed. We've put it on the market because we try to keep an inventory of move-in ready homes for people that don't want to wait for the construction process.
Yeah, for sure.
So that way we've got an inventory of things on site that are ready or close to ready. And that way there's some inventory available for people in that situation.
All right. So, Mike and I are sitting here just chatting through things. And, we dived in a little bit further on the whole question of, the old adage, don't buy the most expensive home in the neighborhood, because it's going to be tough to resell it and get your money out of it. Well, it depends. That's not necessarily the case.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very general statement.
Sure.
If you're buying waterfront in Pulte Homes and we're talking it's over $1 million.
Mm-hmm. Could be potentially.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So, those are going to be more scarce than all of the other properties that are $300,000 to $400,000.
Correct. Yep.
Which means you're probably not going to have that difficulty, that trying of a time selling it because it is so much higher in demand because it is waterfront and so luxurious. You're probably not going to have a problem selling it.
That's right. Yeah, that's kind of one of our biggest selling features of this community is that we are right on the Intercoastal Waterway. And part of our amenities that we're offering that's under construction now, but we will have a boat ramp and a 280-foot day dock just as part of the amenities. There's also going to be a pool and pickleball courts and a fire pit and some other things as well. So having that access to the Intercoastal Waterway and 16 waterfront lots that are going to be right on the Intercoastal.
Yeah. Lots of people that are retiring at the beach are going to want those Intercoastal Waterway lots. And that's just the bottom line. Now, speaking of that, guys, what's happening right now is baby boomers are retiring to the tune of 10,000 per day, and they are moving to the beach. And they've, the two places that I see them moving to primarily are Myrtle Beach and Florida because they want to be at the beach. Now, they figured out that they get more for their money in Myrtle Beach than in Florida. And so we have had significant new construction development happening in this market. Our market actually has been for 3 years running. It was the fastest growing place out of the 150 most populated places in the entire U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty amazing. So, all right, now can you have fences here?
Yes, you can have fences. We do have several home sites that back up to ponds. So if you back up to a pond, you can't do a privacy fence. You can do a 4-foot black metal fence. But we also do allow 6-foot wooden privacy fences for those home sites that don't back up to a pond or any water.
What about pets?
Pets are allowed.
Pets are a big deal.
We don't have any breed restrictions. I think that the only requirement there is no more than, I think, a maximum of 3 dogs.
So I can have 3 50-pound, I can have 3 Great Danes rolling around with me.
If you choose to do that, you're a brave man, for sure.
All right. Well, I'm sure a lot of our pet lovers are going to love to hear that, honestly, which is super, super cool. And to be honest with you, I feel like I'm hearing that more and more as I work with these new construction places. There's not a lot of the whole, you can't have more than 30-pound pet and stuff like that. I believe timing the market matters just as much as picking the home. Understanding end of quarter and end of year builder pressure, knowing when to target inventory homes versus to be built opportunities, and recognizing early phase versus late phase pricing can dramatically change your outcome. I believe financing is where deals are truly won or lost. Interest rate differences, temporary versus permanent buy downs, choosing the right loan type like VA, FHA, or conventional, and knowing when to use lender credits versus builder lender incentives can impact your payment for more than the purchase price. I believe when all of these elements are aligned correctly, you're not just buying a home, you're engineering a deal that works for you on day one and positions you to win again at resale. If you're still early in the process, start by watching a few more of these community breakdowns. Then when you're ready, we'll build your strategy together. And if you want to make sure you're not overpaying, missing incentives, or choosing the wrong community, reach out. I'll help you compare the entire market and structure a deal that works for you and not the builder. Call me now at 843-360-1737 and let's map out your strategy the right way. All right, so Mike, if you could, state the unique value proposition of Crescent Cove comparatively.
Yeah, so we're one of the few communities in the Myrtle Beach area that are so close to Market Common, where you've got lots of dining and shopping and movie theater, and we're very close proximity to Market Common, as well as having direct access to the Intercoastal Waterway. That definitely makes us a unique community.
No doubt, absolutely. So you can buy an Intercoastal Waterway home and be in all the action, basically.
Exactly.
Now, for those of you that don't know, Market Common is like a city within a city. It's probably one of the most desirable places in our market, honestly. They've got like a $1.3 million playground out there for the kids. They've got upscale shopping. They've got movie theater and bookstores and boutique shops. And my wife loves that place.
Mine does too.
Yeah. So it's beautiful. There's tons of restaurants out there. They do farmers market during the weekends. They do the Dragon Boat Race every year, a nonprofit, raising all kinds of funds and stuff. It's baseball fields and soccer, like you name it. It's out there. It is a happening place in our market, and they have an excellent walking trail. I think a lot of people looking to be active and have that active lifestyle
100%.
like the idea that it's probably going to be super close to Crescent Cove. Mike, let's talk through what everyone wants to know about builder incentives with Pulte. Lay it on them.
Sure. Yeah. So on the builder side, we do offer incentives based on your floor plan and which collection that floor plan falls in. There's going to be some varying incentives available there from the builder side, but also Pulte Mortgage is an affiliate of ours. And if you finance your home through Pulte Mortgage, they're going to kick in some additional closing cost incentives. Again, it depends on which collection you're going with, but it can be anywhere from $10,000 to $14,000 additional in closing costs.
And that's for using the lender.
Correct.
Yep. And now I've seen recently some interest rates from other builders as low as 3.99. You guys have that kind of competitive?
We do. On some of our move-in ready inventory, we do have some interesting programs like that where you can get up to 3.99.
Okay.
Or I'm sorry, as low as 3.99.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Now, of course, that depends on your credit and a handful of factors. Now, let's talk about how to buy a new construction home.
Okay.
All right. All that being said, for the person that wants to get the most incentives, do they need to buy a already built home, or do they need to do a to be built home?
We offer both. Usually once our inventory of move-in ready homes are released, typically the price will be discounted a little bit. We take offers on those all the time. We will negotiate offers on those. As far as to be built homes, that's we do have the builder incentives that we will offer, and it varies again. To get the full amount of incentives available would be to get the builder incentives and finance through Pulte Mortgage. That way you're taking advantage of everything that's out there available.
Yeah, and guys, compared to buying a resale home, there's no comparison. You can't get those kinds of incentives.
Correct.
You just can't. Now, so from what I can tell, though, it seems like the best deals that people walk away with tend to be the ones that are already existing, already built, already on the market. There's not as many incentives if you do a to be built compared to something that's active on the market. Is that about right?
I would say we probably have more flexibility because for our inventory homes that are out there, we don't want them hanging around too long. So there's probably more flexibility in the pricing on one of those than a to be built, because we do have our incentives that we offer. But at some point, if you're trying to bring your price down, then you have to figure out which options you're willing to live without.
Come on, you got to be real.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. Now, do you guys beat out other builders? Like, let's say DR Horton or Meritage Homes or Beazer or somebody else. If somebody walks in and says, well, I'm looking at this Beazer home and I'm looking at this Pulte home, how does that work? How do y'all win the business?
That's a great question. For me, my perspective might be a little bit unique because I've been on the sales side of the business for about a year and a half now. But prior to that, I was on the construction side.
Okay.
And my go-to on that is our build quality. We have a whole book full of standards that go above and beyond what code requires here.
Yep.
And I think our build quality processes are second to none.
Yep.
I really believe in them. I saw them in the field when I was building, and that's what makes it easy for me to to switch to the sales side because I believe in our processes.
Yeah, you've seen it.
I have.
Seen it. Yeah. So what you're saying is the quality of your home. If somebody really wants a quality home, you guys, that's what you're bringing to market. That's what you're guaranteeing. We'll give you a good deal. However, know that this is a well-built home.
That's right. Yeah. I will never claim that we are the lowest price builder. We're just not. We're in constant competition with the other production builders in the area. But I do think that we edge them out in the.
Come on, that's good. That's good. Juicy questions with Mike. So, can we lock an interest rate right now?
The only way you'd be able to do that is if you're buying one of our move-in ready homes. Because we can typically get you in one of them within 30 to 45 days if the home is completed. Otherwise, depending on the completion date, we're going to be looking at the interest rates at the time of closing.
Yeah. So basically, I want to buy a home for next year because I'm relocating after my kids, get out of school, and I can pay a deposit now. We can get started on the process now. You guys can go ahead and start building everything.
Correct.
But we can't lock in an interest rate.
Yeah, we won't lock the interest rate in until, and this is more of a Pulte mortgage question, so
I'm
a little out of bounds, but yeah, they're not going to lock in your interest rate until you're probably 30 to 45 days out.
All right, guys, you're hearing it.
I believe without independent representation, buyers don't compare other communities that may offer better value, miss opportunities with stronger incentives or better timing, and often accept default structures on financing, upgrades, or lot premiums that may not serve them long term. I believe most buyers are guided to focus on the home itself, when the real decision should be about resale, long-term value, and how the deal is structured from day one. I believe when you have the right broker in your corner, you're not just choosing a home. You're comparing the entire market, structuring the deal strategically, and positioning yourself to win both now at purchase and when you sell. Before you make a decision, let's run your deal the right way. Compare incentives, financing options, and timing across multiple communities so you know exactly where you stand. And even if you're already talking to a builder, it's worth getting a second opinion because small changes in structure can mean thousands of dollars in difference. Call me now at 843-360-1737 and let's break down your deal the right way before you move forward.
All right, now this is always juicy. I enjoy this part. Lot strategy is a real thing. I feel like people get carried away with the whole, I'm so excited that I'm getting a brand new built home, that they don't really think through lot strategy and resale. They're so excited, which is great. We want you guys to be excited, but you also got to be grounded. And you got to realize, hey, this opportunity that's in front of me is going to help me. It can help me build substantial wealth if I do it well. And with just a few little tweaks, you can be in a much better position in the future. So all that said, which lots are the premium lots to buy and why?
So every home site that we offer is going to have a premium associated with it. It just depends on the characteristics of that particular home site.
Yeah.
The size is going to come into play. The location, as far as if you back up to a pond or if you back up to a wooded area or if you're in a cul-de-sac, those are all desirable features of a home site. So they're going to drive your premium up, as well as being on the intercoastal waterway.
Yeah,
so
no doubt. Now let's dive a little bit deeper for first-time buyers. Why does backing up to woods matter?
Some people like the privacy of it.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Privacy is something that you need to be thinking about whenever you choose that lot. I've been told, or through my own research, you don't ever buy a lot that's right at the entrance of a place, just for simple fact that, you might have a lot of noise.
Sure.
And other people that are going to be looking 5-10 years up the road when you go to sell your home might not want to buy your home, even if it's a great home, just because it's right there at the entrance.
Location matters.
Yeah. Location matters. Now, waterfront, or close to the on-site amenities. Perhaps, you've got a grandparent and their grandchildren are going to come. They want to be close to the amenities so they can walk right across the street and go play with their kids. Now, that would be desirable for somebody in that position, but perhaps might not be for, someone that doesn't care about the on-site amenities, someone that doesn't have grandkids, what I mean? So all those factors come into play. Now, so you're saying water, Being on water is a plus. Having some privacy is a plus. The size of the lot. Speaking of the size of the lot, how close together are these homes? Am I living right up on top of my neighbor?
What I usually tell people is the closer you get to the beach, the smaller your home site's going to be.
Come on.
That's just the reality.
It's the reality.
Getting closer to the beach, people want to be there.
Now,
so,
speaking of that, how close to the beach are we? 10 minutes?
I'd say it's a 10 or 15 minute drive from here. You can cut through Market Common, get out to Business 17, just south of the exit on the other side of Market Common, is Myrtle Beach State Park.
So
great beach access.
And the whole rule of thumb here is the further you get from the beach, the more house you get for your money. The closer you get to the beach, the less house you get for your money. It's going to be more expensive and you're going to get less home, but what you're paying for is proximity to the beach.
Correct.
Being where all the action is.
Sure.
Now, so kind of close together, little close together.
Yeah, I mean, the home sites have 5 foot setbacks on each side, a minimum of 5 feet. So nothing within that 5 feet from the property line, we can't have any part of the structure. Now, they don't all necessarily take up right up to 5 feet. Some of them do. Some of the larger homes, but you're going to have a minimum of 10 feet. It's usually more than that, though.
Okay, super cool. And now, do we have a good sized backyard? Do we have a good sized front yard? I mean, what is our typical or average lot size here at Crescent Cove?
Yeah, on average, you're looking at about 1/5 of an acre. It can vary, but that's probably a pretty good size average.
Number. All right, the infamous upgrades conversation. Upgrades are a big deal. In my opinion, they are very, very important if you pick them out correctly for resale. Now, I'm going to ask Mike what his opinion on upgrades are and options, and then I'm going to tell you my opinion. Let's go. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so I think a couple of our most popular upgrades are the gourmet style kitchen layout.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which people absolutely love.
Yep.
And then we have a few different owner's bath layouts. I think our most popular one being what we call the super shower. It's a big resort style walk-in shower, like a zero entry kind of shower. It's all tile and it's huge and it's beautiful and people love it.
Yep. Okay, so those two are that's the top ones you see people doing a lot.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I don't disagree with you at all. In fact, he hit the nail on the head. The thought process here for upgrades, in my opinion, in order to increase or keep as much resale value as possible, are the upgrades that create the ooh and the ah, the emotional. A buyer walks in and sees that gourmet kitchen, and that wife is like, "Dude, I got to have this.
Yes.
Like this is great
all the time.
I can see myself cooking here,
Sure.
And she's all of a sudden winning some inner victories in the kitchen right there, like she's motivated now. Yeah. Now, the bathroom, the kitchen's in the bathroom, man. I mean, like that's where it's at.
Sure.
Of course. Okay. Now, those are what's going to get buyers emotionally hyped up, and they're going to go, ooh, ah, and then they stop thinking with the whole, how many dollars do I have in my pocket? And they start thinking with the whole, I got to figure out a way to buy this,
That's right.
Yeah. So whenever you're buying or getting whenever you're getting purchasing upgrades or options, you want to make sure you're buying the ones that create the emotional hype. Now, the other things that you want to do are stuff that you cannot do after the home's built. Right?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
Structural options.
You don't want to be trying to break into walls.
A good example of that would be like our front elevation that we offer. Each floor plan that we offer has a few different front elevations that you can choose from. And what that means is like the curb appeal from the front. Some of them have larger front porches and a brick veneer. Versus some of the other ones that don't have that. So that's
after the home built and done. I mean, you're going to try to contract a construction company to come out here and do that.
It's a lot easier to just let us do it.
A lot easier to let you guys do it. So stuff that you really can't do afterwards, or even perhaps stuff that would just be really, really challenging to do afterwards. You want to get all that stuff done up front. Now, things I would probably avoid maybe like plumbing upgrade. Now, this is just me personally. Plumbing upgrades, maybe certain lighting upgrades and things. Things, if you can hire a contractor and it's super easy for them to come in and do a handful of stuff afterwards, it's not really adding a ton of resale value, a ton of emotional hype. I probably would, subcontract that, find you a contractor, get some different bids, go with the guy who's giving you the best deal, but I really wouldn't put a premium on doing that up front. And that's just me personally. You really want to go after those big ticket emotional resale items like the kitchen, the bathrooms, and are there any particular upgrades that you guys do in homes that maybe D.R. Horton doesn't do, or another new construction builder doesn't do.
Hmm.
That kind of gives you a leg up that if somebody's buying a Pulte home, well, you definitely need to make sure you get this, because when you go to resell this home, you're going to have something a lot of other homes in the neighborhood or a lot of other homes in the area aren't going to have. Anything like that?
Nothing comes to mind.
Well, I will tell you that some of these finishes are phenomenal in here.
Sure.
I mean, like, you see these accent walls. I mean, wow, it's absolutely stunning.
Sure.
All right, let's get into the infamous HOA questions. I know a lot of our viewers are anti-HOA. Now, this is how I think about HOAs. Yes, sometimes HOAs do some things that aggravate the mess out of you, for sure. Like, I'm going to just vent for a second.
Sure.
In my neighborhood, we got a complaint that our trash lid was open, and if it wasn't closed, they would charge us a fee because the trash was too high in the trash can. Okay. You know, that kind of stuff's a little bit like, you're kind of like, yeah, guys, you're missing the point. You know what I mean? Now, in my opinion, the point of an HOA is to protect appreciation on the back end of the deal. In other words, if it's the wild, wild west in my neighborhood and there are rotting cars and rusted stuff in people's yards, and it's like the wild, wild west, people are doing all kinds of things that they shouldn't be doing, it's going to bring the values of the homes down, and it is going to hurt the appreciation that I'm going to make on the back end of the deal. A solid HOA makes value-added decisions to protect all of the property's value. Mm-hmm. They keep the amenities updated. They keep the neighborhood in order. You know, you can have these kinds of fences. You can do this. You can't put a workshop out back and start, changing oil. You know what I mean? Right. Like, that's going to keep your property value safe. So an HOA is protecting your investment of one of the largest wealth builders of your life. So it's super important, in my opinion. Now, what does our HOA fee at Crescent Cove cover?
So it covers your trash service, your cable and internet through Spectrum. Current dues are $105 a month. That's expected to go up.
That's cheap.
Yeah, that's
not
cheap,
bad, guys. That's super cheap.
They are expected to increase when the amenity area opens up. They're expected to go to $135 to $145 a month, somewhere in that range. Okay. Still pretty reasonable for what you're getting.
Very reasonable. Yeah. Very reasonable. I've got a home in an older neighborhood, and I think at that place we're paying like $165 a month. Now, there are a ton of amenities out there, but for a brand new amenity center with all the stuff you guys are offering, sure, I mean, come on, that's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. Can we have gas here?
Yes, it is a gas community, so we use the tankless Renai water heaters. They're included. It's a standard feature in every home.
Every home?
Every home.
Wow.
So you're going to get that. That's included. You also have gas heat, and you've got the option to do electric or gas cooking, whatever you choose there.
That's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Now, can people have RVs and boats?
So no long-term parking. I mean, you can have them obviously, but they probably would have to be stored off-site.
Yeah. Okay. So nothing crazy like that.
Right.
And then another important one is rentals.
So the rentals are allowed. Nothing short-term. It's got to be a minimum 12-month lease. If you're going to do a rental in this community.
Not bad, yeah. Mm-hmm. And rentals are a big deal at the beach.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
There are plenty of investors that buy these new construction homes and make money in appreciation. I've heard some stories of, in fact, a few DR Horton homes. One guy bought a home, I think within 2 years, sold it for $150,000 more than what he paid for it.
Yeah, I believe it.
And that's a new construction home. That's a solid investment. Took the money and went and bought an even bigger, nicer new construction home.
Mm-hmm. Builder reps will help you buy in their community. My job is to help you decide if it's the right deal in the entire market and structure it so you win now and at resale. If you're thinking about buying new construction anywhere in Myrtle Beach or the Grand Strand, the next step is simple. Schedule a call with me. We'll walk through your goals, compare communities, and map out the strongest deal strategy for your situation. Call me now at 843-360-1737 and let's make sure you get this right from the start. I believe the difference between an average deal and a great one is rarely the price. It's how you structure incentives, optimize financing, control timing, and ultimately protect your resale. I believe great buyers aren't focused on small price reductions. They're leveraging closing cost credits, rate buydowns, free upgrades or premiums, and lot fee reductions to create immediate and long-term financial advantage.
All right, quick fire question. Cheapest home I can buy here, Crescent Cove. What's the difference in a standard model and an upgraded model? Pricing.
So our least expensive floor plan, it's, the pricing is going to be in the mid 300s. And then that does not include a home site or any upgrades.
Okay.
So you're probably looking at high threes, low fours.
After upgrades. And
with kind of a base house with and a lot premium added on.
Yep.
It's going to be a range. But once you add some options into that, I mean, they could get up into like the mid fours.
Wow. Okay. And then let's talk through some of those options versus standard.
Okay. So
in that cheapest base home.
Yeah. So in that collection, we have option packages. So there's an included package, which is included in the base price of the home, and then we have 3 different upgrade packages that are available as well.
Okay.
So the upgrades are going to be for your design features, cabinets, countertops, flooring, tile backsplash, those kind of things are what's kind of in those packages that you can select upgrades for.
Okay.
So this display that we've got in here is just showing some of our build quality initiatives that we have. This first one is just kind of showing how we flash our exterior penetrations, or in this case, a window, the way that it's flashed to seal the exterior envelope so they're not getting any leaks. This is showing how we would do the waterproofing for a tile shower. And then this is showing kind of how we build our slabs. It's kind of a cross section of a footer with the rebar and then the concrete slab, how we flash our plumbing penetrations in the concrete, and then we have the welded wire mesh there as well that reinforces the concrete.
So Pulte is committed to quality craftsmanship.
100%.
Yeah. I cannot wait to talk about top new construction builder incentives in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Now, let's jump right into it. D.R. Horton, we've got paid closing costs between $6,000 and $12,000. Always, it depends on the deal. It depends on the timing. Is the property built already? Is the property under construction? Those are some of the factors that you're going to see at play here between your interest rate and your closing costs. So a home that's already constructed, you're going to get a better deal on. They want to move that fast. A home that has to be built from the ground up, well, you're probably not going to get as good of a deal. Now, there's a range there. Paid closing costs, $6,000 to $12,000. Interest rate starts as low as 3.99%, going up to that plus or minus stands for the current market rate. Now, there are no other incentives that I'm aware of after interviewing and talking with D.R. Horton reps. Now, Pulte Homes, $10,000 to $14,000 in paid closing cost, 3.99% interest to the going rate. Now, other incentives is between $20,000 and $40,000 off the ask price. I cannot wait to dig deeper and unlock some insights for you here on these builder incentives. Now, Mungo Homes, you've got $3,500 to $5,000 in paid closing costs. Your interest rate starts at a 4.99 to the going market rate. They are higher on the interest rate than both D.R. Horton and Pulte. That's Mungo Homes. And then there were no other incentives with Mungo Homes. Now, finally, we've got Meritage Homes. We've got paid closing costs to the tune of $5,000. Your interest rate as low as 4.99% to the going market rate. And they do free appliances, which I thought was really, really cool. They take care of all your appliances to include your washer and dryer. Yeah, not bad. Now, let's dig in and go a little bit deeper. Number one, don't chase the rate alone. Look at the total incentive value. We got multiple builders offering as low as 3.99% interest rates. So rate is becoming less of a differentiator between the new construction builders. The real spread is in your closing cost, it's in your price reductions, and the other incentives or extras that you can pull off in your deal. The takeaway here is that a 3.99% interest rate is great, but if one builder is giving you $30,000 off the price, that often beats a slightly better long-term rate. Now, number two, Pulte is hands down the most aggressive equity play on the table. $10,000 to $14,000 in closing costs, $20,000 to $40,000 off the ask price. This is the only builder here creating instant equity at purchase. Now, what this means for you as a buyer is it's going to have the lower loan amounts. It's going to be better. You're going to have better refinance flexibility later. And there's going to be stronger resale positioning. Now, the investor angle here is this is the closest thing to a buying below the market that you're going to find in new construction. I like this play a lot, if I'm honest with you. Out of all of these builders, me personally, I think you're getting the best deal here. Plus, they seem to be a pretty, they're more of a custom builder, which, if you've seen the videos, if you haven't seen the videos, you need to watch the videos and learn the differences between the different builders in our market. I think Pulte is winning on the deal, though. Now, number 3, D.R. Horton is the best cash to close play. So for those of you with less money in your account and you're going to be tight bringing cash to the table, you might want to go with the D.R. Horton home. $6,000 to $12,000 in closing cost is huge. Competitive at that 3.99% rate. There's no flashy extras, but the takeaway is that it's a clean, simple, predictable deal. It's strong for buyers who want the lowest out-of-pocket upfront expenses. They want stable financing, but they have no need for added value beyond just the basics. If you want to come out of pocket with the least amount of money, D.R. Horton's your builder. Now, Mungo and Meritage, this is the middle ground, but weaker financially. It's not going to be the best deal. It's low closing cost. It's got a higher rate at 4.99%, and there's no extras. In my opinion, this is the weakest overall financial package on the table. Now, could one of these homes be the best value for you? Absolutely. If you find a lot of value in the product line that Mungo or Meritage produces, even though the numbers don't work out well for you, it might still be the best value for you. And those are things that we have to dive in and work through, the personal use value versus the financial deal, and kind of find out where your priorities are. If it's more important for you to get a perceived value that you have in a Meritage or a Mungo home, then it still might be a win for you, even though it's not the best deal. If you're more financially minded and your goals are more financial, or perhaps you don't have as much money to come out of pocket, a variety of factors, but if your priorities are more on the financial side, then Mungo and Meritage probably are out of the game for you. Now, Meritage, we've got a flat $5,000 closing rate with a 4.99% interest rate. We've got free appliances. Now, the appliances feel good emotionally for sure, but financially, that's maybe $3,000 to $6,000 worth of value. You're effectively paying more monthly for a cosmetic perk. Let's call it what it is. Now, the hidden truth, builders are incentivizing differently based on strategy. Pulte, they're here to move inventory and discount that price. D.R. Horton keeps their pricing firm, but they support financing. And then Mungo and Meritage, minimal incentives. They rely on the product brand. The takeaway for buyers is you're not just choosing a house, you're choosing a builder's business strategy. You got to see it for what it is. Now, the smart buyer strategy, and this is where we really need to dig in. When you're comparing communities, your buyers should ask, what am I getting in exchange for the price I'm paying? And guys, I try to drive this home in my videos, which is why we compare different builders. It's why we look at resale value versus new construction. It's why we look at comparables. It's why we go in and say, all right, in this community, I'm getting a larger lot and better privacy, and I'm paying a little bit of premium compared to the rest of the market. But in this community, I'm not paying a premium. I don't have a larger lot. And then maybe as a buyer, you don't even care about a larger lot. Well, then it might be good for you to go with a lower tier new construction builder as opposed to a higher tier, because what you're paying for is worth it for you or not worth it for you. So you've got to always ask yourself, what am I getting in exchange for the price I'm paying? And so when you walk into a new construction community, you see that asking price, but we dig in deeper and look at things on a price per square foot basis and compare your home to the rest of the market so you can see where it sits and see if that premium is worth it. That's one of the things you've got to do. It's why you hire a solid buyer's broker to help you work through the nuts and bolts of not overpaying for what you actually value and want. Now, if one home is $10,000 more expensive, but another gives you $30,000 off up front, that's a $40,000 swing in your favor. Now, the bottom line is best upfront equity, Pulte. Best for lowest cash out of pocket, D.R. Horton. Best emotional perks, but weaker financially, Meritage. Weakest overall deal structure is going to be Mungo. Now, builder incentives can look similar on the surface, but when you break them down, the difference between these deals can easily be $20,000 to $40,000. That's why we don't just pick a house. We structure the best deal across the entire market. And it's why you hire a buyer's broker like me to run your numbers so that you can get the insights that you need to make a savvy decision when buying new construction in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Pick up the phone and give me a call. It's 843-360-1737.